this is going to be quite a little, it's a nice little intimate class. And I was just saying that I think people think, oh, they're just leaf prints. They're kind of, light. But guess what? It's a great like gateway into jelly plate printing. I mean, really beautiful way to kind of get familiar with it. And I don't know if everybody got jelly plates. You can actually do this class without a jelly plate because there's lots of ways to print with leaves without them. But just for fun, I decided to go get 2 new ones. I just get them from Dick Blick. This is what I tend to do. I have tons of them in my studio because I sometimes teach classes using them, and I made them by hand. And the ones I've made by hand are very irregular and have all kinds of little dings and imperfections, but they're pretty fun to make handmade jelly plates. They're very non-toxic. You end up using gelatin and oils, and you cook it and you pour it into a pan, and the whole thing. I got it really into making them, and it's so much fun to go buy them as well. So I like these kind. They're very inexpensive. I mean, I think this was like $11. I got 2 sizes here, 6 by 6, and then I got the 4 by 6, I guess. And one thing you have to know is that you never want to put these on newspaper because the jelly plate will absorb the newspaper, and then you'll have that on your jelly plate forever. So they usually come with this piece of plastic, and you really want to make sure that you have that under the jelly. And I'm pretty strict about that. Okay, so we've got some pretty amazing jelly plate artists in this class. And also, it is really smart when you're done with a jelly plate to put them back into their little case. And just be careful, because if this jelly plate printing goes directly on top of the jelly plate, it could absorb all that advertising and stuff. So you have to be a little bit careful. So then they give you another one with these things. The other thing is, if I stored this box on top of, right on top of a jelly, and then it could dent it. They're sensitive. They're strong and sensitive, just like us, strong and sensitive. Okay, now I'm gonna make sure I have my plastic off of them on the top, because we're gonna use them.
Alexandra?
Yeah.
This is Terrell. I keep mine on top of freezer paper, and then I put freezer paper on top in case,
Yeah, that's really great stuff, freezer paper. Now, Terrell, you have quite a few large jelly plates, right?
I have a really large one, yeah.
How big?
Gosh, I can't remember.
This is one of my large ones. I decided I wanted,
14 by 12.
Okay.
Is there bigger?
Oh, wow. Yeah, no. This one, I think I do have a really big one in the studio. I just don't know exactly where it is. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things I did yesterday. I want to just show you that I've got all these cards I'm going to be using today. Now notice, if I put this down, it just really sticks to the jelly. So be careful. So here's my card. I have outlined my card right here. And then when I put my jelly plate down, I can kind of see where the card, this is just it's a way to do a little bit of registration. I'm going to be doing a lot of different kind of jelly plate printing. So just for now, I've got my brand new jelly plate. I want you to just see some of my funky old ones are always covered with stuff. These are some that I've cut up. This is one of my cleaner ones. And I don't mind that they have all this schmutz on them, because that stuff comes off in the prints and I love it. But I just thought I would start with a clean one for starting this. And I'm just gonna Okay, so I put my jelly plate down. And one of the horrible things I didn't say on the invitation is to have brayers. Is there anyone who does not have a brayer? Is there anybody who didn't? Because I forgot to put it on my Saturday class that I'm doing, but I forgot to put it on the invitation for this class. If you do not have a brayer, you're going to use a brush. And I've done jelly plate printing with just brushes. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start with blue, and I'm just going to take some Prussian blue. And then I'm going to take one of the things, I've already made a huge mistake, which is to tell you that when you do this, it's always good to get things ready before you start printing. So you're going to want a piece of paper, which I call a piece of scratch paper. Scratch paper is an art expression for sort of a junk paper. Okay. And I have a wonderful big old roll of weird paper. I have no idea where it came from. I love it. I'm just going to have that next to me. Okay. And now I'm just going to throw down some stuff.
Did you make those lines right on the thing? I'm confused because I was.
Okay, I'll explain it because
I'm sorry.
What I did was yeah, I'm not explaining everything very well. I will explain that. That's good. I'm glad I love questions because then it lets me know. Okay, now I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm going to put it right on the registration of the card. And then I'm going to get my scratch paper. Just watch it first because I'll cover things. Of course, my scratch paper stuck to the. Now, this is the most important thing that I'm going to be repeating about 400 times today, which is when you push down, you do not let this paper slide. That end, I'm going to really push down. And then this is all hand printing, okay? I don't need to use my roller, although some people do, but I'm not, because I like to really push around the stems. People who print too fast, not a good thing. There's a kind of systematic going slow and being patient, which is not that easy for me, as you all know, because I'm like a Speedy Gonzalez kind of person. Probably. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this up. And that's my scratch paper, which I end up really liking. And then I'm even going to do it again just to make sure. Just really pushing to see if I can get all that stuff in there. Now I'm going to pull this up. And not that great. But now I'm going to take this stuff off. And of course, I have all these little seed pods that are kind of sticking. And why don't I just print that right back? Now, this is why it's nice to have the registration, right? So I can just put that right back in that little box because I'll show you how I did that bottom paper. And now I'm going to see if I can get this. I'm not going to let it slide. See if I can get the print of the plants on here. And I could get my, I'm actually going to get another scratch piece of paper because I don't really want to get this all. I like to have a few of these. This is called burnishing. And I really like to do it with the hand. I'm working with a weight trainer lately, and I feel so freaking empowered about my strength in my arms. And I've had upper arm shame for my entire life, upper arm weakness shame. And now I'm kind of You know, I was inspired by a woman at Snow Farm who was like 78, and she said, I have stronger muscles than almost anybody I know. And she showed me her muscles, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to work with a trainer. So I feel strong about burnishing. Now let's see what happened. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, very nice.
And of course, it has some of the plant matter stuck to it. Now, okay, let's show you how I did this.
Where's the gel plate, or what do you call it?
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna get another piece of paper just so you see how I did that. I'll just see if I can, okay, I'll do a vertical. So I just put this here, get my pen, and I outline this. I'm not a super careful person. Oops, that didn't work. Guess I went on the plastic. So I just outline my jelly plate. So there's my jelly plate. I also have a bigger jelly plate. So I'm just going to eyeball this. This is a really nice little quick trick to, if you want to have things line up. What do they call that again in printmaking? Somebody's going to know in this class.
Registration.
Thank you. Registration. Perfect. Oops, going on the plastic. So much plastic, so little time. All right. And that's good enough, right? So that means that, oh, but I also didn't do the small card size. I'm going to do a small, because I have 3 different sizes I'm working with. This is the card size I got for doing postcards for this weekend. Okay, so this means that that's my card size. So let's say I put this down. And I think I have to take the plastic off because it's just too slippery. Okay, we're just going to do this one more time. I'm going to put some Prussian blue here. Prussian blue is so beautiful, right out of the. So you're going to see how this registers. And that way, if you print back into a card, you can have it registered. Now, this is, I don't usually make things registering anything. Okay. I just went and picked. I had to ask my neighbor for permission to do this. No, I don't know. It was really funny. I watched some YouTubes of people doing this, and there was this pretty wonderful German artist who I thought she did some beautiful printmaking, but then I found somebody who had no sense of composition, like none. And she just made leaf prints with every leaf sort of fit into the square without anything going off of it. It was just really rough. Okay, so now I can see where my card, I can see the lines. It's hard to see on Zoom. Maybe if I hold it up. Can you see those lines? I can just barely see them, but I can see them. So I can register my card. I think I'm putting a little too many plants on here. That's the problem. But I'm going to get my scratch. And the thing is, the more leaves you put down, the more you've got to really push them into the jelly plate so that you really get the ink. And you can't let it slip. And use this opportunity to figure out how to print. Maybe it is corny, but then you can do lots of other things. You can print with anything flat. You can have a big jelly plate and do your own shapes. I'll show a few examples of that. There's a lot of things I can show you, and there's some of it's really cool. Okay, now I'm going to take off my scratch, and I actually end up loving the scratch things. I'm going to really push here because no, I put too much stuff in there. Okay, now I'm going to lift that up. Yeah.
I found next to my jelly plate, I found all this golden open slow drying acrylic. Is that supposed to go with this, or is that just some other random thing we did?
Slow drying acrylic?
Yeah, I don't know what that was for. I have a bag of it and it was sitting next to my jelly plates.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to tell everybody right now, and I have this on my list of things to mention, is that there are paints called golden open. And open
yeah.
it's a slow drying acrylic. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah.
Okay, so these are really great for using jelly plates because this paint, the non-open, dries incredibly fast, but it kind of depends on what you're doing. So I haven't really been using them for this activity today. Now I'm gonna actually let this dry. And I love this one. I think that's really beautiful. I really like some of them that kind of look like cyanotypes. I happen to have a cyanotype, and I just noticed that this is a cyanotype is a kind of printmaking where you use a kind of chemical on the paper. You put your stuff, your grasses here, and then you take it outside and it's exposed to light. And wherever the grasses here are covering the chemical stays light, and then the sunlight makes the chemical turn dark blue. They're very beautiful. They're very photographic, just like these prints we're making. But I just noticed that a lot of these prints felt a little bit like cyanotypes, and I love that kind of photographic quality. But that is a cyanotype.
Sorry, I'm totally confused. You put do you put the acrylic or whatever down first? I know you put the leaves down first, and then I'm not sure what you're doing. I know I've done it past, but I forgot.
But what you're going to have to do is just watch over and over again. So I'm going to actually let this dry. Okay, I'm going to let this leaf print. I'm going to put it aside. I'm just going to let it dry. Then we can do something else with it. Okay, so this is. Let me get another jelly plate. I'm going to get my funky jelly plate. Pretty funky. Same size. Okay, so watch, Libby.
I'm
now
watching.
This time maybe I will combine. I'll put a little bit of white and a little bit of Prussian blue. I'm in love with Prussian blue right now. I'm deeply in love with it. I just can't get enough of it. And I'm going to mix the color right on the plate. Now, got these grasses. Now, with the plate all wet, Libby, I'm going to throw down my plants. I really like the grasses. I don't know what's going to happen. Now I'm going to get my card. I actually, because it's white, I can't see through the jelly, but I can kind of just put it right smack in the middle of the jelly, and that keeps to the registration. And then I need my scratch paper, which of course I put something on top of. Here. This paper ends up being so beautiful, and I can't wait to show off some of my scratch papers from yesterday. Okay, most important thing, you're not going to let this thing slide around. You're going to really hold it down. Really make sure I push, because that's the whole point of this, is that the Gelli plate has a give. It has a wonderful give to it. Now, I could have had a hair dryer near me, but I forgot about that. Okay, now I'm going to pull this up. See how beautiful this paper starts to get. I love this paper. And now I'm going to pull this up. And that's pretty beautiful. I mean, I think these are gorgeous for my postcard project, which is I'm doing Saturday. But I could put this back and make a print, but I know I wouldn't like it as much. But maybe I'll take another card and I'll print this. And I'm telling you, these scratch papers end up being so pretty. Yeah, so Gelli plates are made of gelatin, and they're tough and sensitive all at the same time. Like I said, you don't want to put them on magazine or anything like that, because they'll absorb the print and then you'll have it on there forever. Of course, I've made all those mistakes. And the reason to have a scratch paper is that then you don't get it all over your hands, you know, and you might want a nice back of one of these cards. Now watch, it's pretty tricky to pull this up. So, and that's not that interesting. So when you have something not that interesting, I'm going to just show you exactly what I like to do then. I have a really good suggestion of what to do. I love this one. I really like these simple ones. We're going to do a lot of things, so just stay with me here. Okay, so the next thing is to have another scratch. And I'm going to I really like my rose leaves. They're pretty beautiful. Now, if you are going to want to print a leaf, you're going to want the side of the leaf that has more texture. Okay, so I'm going to find my small brush. Of course, is not near me. I've got a nice small brush here. And I will take my Prussian blue, or should I do a different color? I think I'll do Prussian blue. Maybe a little bit of black. I'll do Prussian blue and a little bit of Payne's gray, so it's going to be very dark. I'm going to put a little bit of water on my brush. Got a little water in here. And I'll tell you, there's a very specific reason why I'm teaching this today, because I felt really rattled by the election. I know it went really well, but I was really stressed the day before. And I found that I was exhausted last week from just the stress of it all. And I know what kind of art to do when I'm really stressed out. And I know what to teach, because I have to teach something that feels really fun and maybe gentle if I'm in an exhausted state. And so that's why I'm doing this, because I just needed it. I really needed, it's very like working with plants and making beautiful reflections on nature is just exactly what I needed. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up and put this down. Actually, I should have another piece of scratch paper because I don't want to necessarily get that all messy. Oops, things are flying around. Okay, now I'm going to put my leaves down. Scratch paper. And once again, I'm not letting this slip. I am not letting these babies slip. They are not going anywhere. Really holding them down, mashing them down. So leaf prints might seem kind of sweet and decorative and unthreatening. They're making me very happy. Plus, I'm making cards for voters. I've made about 50. Now I'm going to pull this up. I kind of wish I had the stem right here. So I'm going to get a stem on another plant. I'm going to paint it. Just want a little bit of a stem. Just a little bit, maybe a little more. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, it may not be anything to write home about, but perfectly nice little card for this project. Okay, now we are going to take this one. This is dry now. Takes, dries really fast. And I'm going to put very pale color. This is Titan green pale. It's quite easy to register things when they're so small, but when you get working larger, it's harder and harder. Okay, and now just need a card. Almost not press these enough. And one has to hope this works. And I'm going to start to peel it off very slowly. It's not really working that well. No, it didn't really work that well. But it worked a little bit. Okay, so it left some schmutz on here. But in this case, now I'm going to print some leaves in the old-fashioned way. Or I could do something else. I could go right back to square one. I think I'll do that. Okay, I'll try something else. Because one has to decide which one is going to do. I'm gonna turn this one over so I have a clean plate. See, that's still on there, and I can get that onto a print I can get it to print, but I might have to leave something smashed down. We're going to get to that technique later where you can get you can get everything off a jelly plate, even if it dries. And it turns into kind of a different technique. Okay, now I think I'm going to take a dark green. I'm going to take a deep green. My roller has a little bit of blue on it. I'm not crazy about this color. I think I have to mix a little gray into it. I need something darker. That's just the artist in me that just kind of goes, nope, I need a little darker than that. That's the instinct. That's the intuition. Try to listen to it all the time. Okay, I'm going to put this right there. And now I'm going to throw down some plants. I love these messy kind of plants I found just a few minutes ago outside. Right. Get my registration. I'm like a dentist, so quiet. Extraction. Don't let it slip. I'll be showing some very messy methods today. Well, and some, I mean, this is pretty careful what we're doing right now. And it may not appeal to you. You are just not letting this thing slide around. Push, really get the paper down where, you know, those little nooks and crannies. Now remember, we're using leaf prints. You can use so many things on jelly plates. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, I think that's really nice. Beautiful. I think that's pretty nice. So like that one. I like them really simple. Of course, that's all I can probably handle. I watched lots of people making these on YouTube, and there's this couple people that were really great at it and just did beautiful work. Got me pretty inspired. Now I'm picking these off, and I can immediately print this. There are some really nice printmaking implements called burnishers. They're wonderful looking. Oops, got schmutz on this one. Hard to pull up. This is a brand new jelly plate, so I'm going to have to just really peel it off. And that's pretty beautiful, but it's not quite enough. So then I think, well, maybe I could print something really amazing into that. Now, I'm not sure, but I'm going to try something right now, just with what's on this plate. I just took this off. This is something this woman was doing yesterday that I was watching. She was speaking in another language, so it was a little tricky. But I watched her for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna put some raw umber. And just some, like any old blue. Whoops, that was a little too much blue, shucks. And I want to throw in something unusual, like a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to really mix these colors on here. Really mix this up and make so it's kind of a wonderful brown. Now, this is way too much. It's much too much paint. I kind of screwed up, so I'm not, this is too delicate to print this on top of. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to change course because I really just used too much paint. I wanted to do something kind of very transparent, and I didn't. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to change course because I want to make another print, and actually I'm going to take that part of it. I'm not going to have it centered. I'll do something else on that one. That one needs something delicate, and I meant to do something delicate and it got out of hand. I'm a little heavy-handed with the paint. How would you do a transparent coat? Well, a lot less paint and maybe just a drop of water. And there's another thing we can use, which is called retardant. These actually start getting really beautiful. You know, there's something really fun about teaching this class because I feel like I've gotten better at, I've gotten more thorough about printing with leaves. I usually kind of fly through it. Okay, now I could take this and get, see if I can't remember what I'm doing. This is where my registration is off. I put it up in the corner. Oh, well, I didn't quite get that. I'm not a really good girl for registration. It's not my strength. Off now. Kind of nice because then it puts the language of the leaves in there. A little boring. Okay, now I'm gonna get quite a lot of stuff on there, but I think I'm gonna try. No, maybe I'll try this side. Just try this again. Okay, now I'm gonna try and do something delicate on here. So I'm gonna take a little bit of white, very little bit of raw umber. Maybe just a drip of water. Just get the plate a tiny bit wet, and maybe might just add a drop of retarder because I want something to help me spread this. I don't always use this. I've got two of these. I just want to have it be very light. So it's very transparent, not very much color. And you know, there's always a risk of doing it wrong and screwing it up and not liking what you do. And so what? Oh, it's too dark. Okay, I kind of screwed it up. It wasn't transparent enough. That's something I'll work on in this class. I just haven't really how to do a really beautiful transparent coat. Okay, so now you see I've completely screwed it up. Now let's just see what we can do with this. First of all, right away, I'm going to print with this because I like that. Right away, I'm just going to print this one because this one looks really pretty. You're going to have some failure, and I have a whole stack of failure from the past 2 days. And I have some really beautiful ones and some really not beautiful ones. And that's totally part of it.
It's great paper to use in collage.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. And I started using it this morning. I actually really like these papers, which are the scratch. I thought this is scratch paper that I was painting leaves, and then this is what I think this would be beautiful for gift wrap. But maybe just or in, you know, I know. So there we go. Sometimes you get a very decorative side of me. I love this paper. It's beautiful. I even love this one, which is just delicate, a different feel of them. Okay, so that's pretty nice. I do want to show you what she did though, because she would take that off. She would have something really delicate like that on there. That's actually, there's actually a leaf print on there. You can't really see it on Zoom, but it's here. I don't know. I think these are just so pretty though. Like that's to me beautiful. I know that's not quite enough, but these are kind of pretty. I end up infiltrating these into collages all the time, these leaf prints. Just really like them. I think I'm going to let this one dry. It dries so fast, like I could just blow on it. So I could actually put just a little bit of white on here. I'm gonna get a fresh roller because one of the things I noticed is sometimes I get a lot of paint buildup on my rollers and then it starts taking off it kind of takes, the roller starts to take the ink off the plate. I soak these in, oh gosh, now I'm really mixed up. Should I take the risk printing this one or should I do some leaves with white on dark, which would be beautiful? I think I'm going to risk this one just to see what happens. I'm going to risk it because you know what? Why not? Gotta risk things. I don't know if I let it dry enough, maybe not. These edges are getting really beautiful. This paper is really pretty. I wonder if I just let it dry for a while. That's what I don't know. I'm not sure.
If you let it sit on the plate for a while and really let it dry, it tends to pick up everything.
Right, but won't it, if it's white, won't it cover the image? Not if it's
Well,
transparent.
the other thing you can use is matte medium. Like if you just put a light coat of matte medium on the plate, let it dry a bit. And that can also pull everything up.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about that. The matte medium actually can. Well, this is actually kind of pretty though, because I like it sort of, see now the registration is a little off. This is actually quite beautiful. Okay, so now let's take this dud and throw some white on here. I could also use a gray. Got some really nice grays here. I take some gray. This paint is a little sticky. Not loving it. Sometimes acrylic gets a little old and it gets really sticky. I could just add a drop of retardant. I do sometimes like it because it makes it a little, like if you have an acrylic paint that's a little funky, the retardant helps with that. The retardant is supposed to keep things from drying too fast. Okay, not perfect. I'm not ever going to be a perfect printmaker. I'm a very funky printmaker. Now I'm going to put some kind of leaves down. I'm composing, I'm not centering it. Oh, mon Dieu. I'm putting my scratch paper onto a jelly plate and then it sticks to it. Yeah, see, that's pretty nice. So there's when you have a dark print. Here, you've made a big mess. Now that's beautiful. And it has the feel of the plants. Now, another thing is here I have this. This is all perfect for printing. But this is where it's really hard to keep up with what to do. Maybe I'll just put a little bit of this plant on here. I mean, you just can't do better than what nature does. Well, that didn't really work at all. Oh, well, but actually it added to it a tiny bit. Not very much though. Okay, now I have this. And I'm gonna take one of my funky pieces that no, these are my good ones. Where's my funky pieces? There's a huge stack of them somewhere. Oh, here they are. There's one that got away from me. This got completely messed up. What if I do this? So we'll take a break at 5:15.
What's the point of using that paper on top of the paper that you're using now?
Well, because it's really hard to burnish when there's lots of wet ink. I mean, not ink, paint. So that way you know, because it's just impossible. It gets impossibly messy.
Thank you.
That's sort of a but when it's then you push and you push to do something else. And pushing to do something else is great. And that's like, I think this one just looks beautiful just like that. Although I don't love these. There's a little leaf stuck on there. By the way, I wonder if I can monkey with that a little bit with a brush. Paint into that a little bit. I'm not sure. I think it's fine. I think it's such beautiful movement of the plants. It's really good. I like that one actually. So when you have sort of a, well, I think then I go, okay, I think I want to take some leaves. I'm gonna look at what color that might need. Maybe a really loud turquoise. Oops. This is it's called turquoise blue. Get a little water on there. And I will probably be making my place setting name cards with these. That's what I'll do. Because I don't cook very much. I set tables and I'm obsessed with tables, like really beautiful tables. So that's sort of one of the things I do. So I'll probably make some of those for this with these pieces for Thanksgiving. Favorite holiday ever. Love it. So Libby, if I tried to squish this with my hand, it would be such a mess. So I take my scratch paper and I'm very careful to push straight down and not to slide it around too much. I want to kind of save that one a little bit. It's pretty nice. I'm going to put this down on my scratch paper, which is getting really nice. And I already collaged with some scratch paper this morning because I loved it so much. I thought it was so strangely beautiful, and I'll go show you because I'm setting up these pages in books to collage into and to maybe do some landscapes in. And I love paper that feels very non-committal, sort of like nothingness. I'll go get it. It's a huge notebook, so it's hard for me to show you. So this morning, there's a big notebook. I'm starting to work on an artist book to put in a show in February. And so I just loved this piece of paper. It just has sort of hardly anything. This I haven't put down yet, but I'm probably going to put this newspaper, but anyway, I just love this feel of like there's something open, just some marks, very subtle. I love this stuff. This is, I'll show you one of my pages. Some of these pots I bought from a glass artist at Snow Farm. And nothing's really finished. These are how I start my notebooks. Just these kind of wild. I love old sketches and things that are unfinished and kind of. Okay. I'm gonna just show something a little different. There is another way to use jelly plates where everything sticks and becomes a huge mess. And this is one of my, I did a drawing in it, but this paper is all messy, sticky, ripped jelly plate printing that I think is very beautiful. That's jelly plate printing. It's from a few years ago. This is jelly plate printing over, I don't know what I was doing. Let's see, there's a few more really messy ones. Where are the really good messy ones? Oh, maybe in this book. I have a lot of books. This is me using some stamping, but letting things rip and get messed up. And I'll show you how I did the stamping. And also just like that's jelly plate printing. I love this kind of paper. This is so incredible for texture. This is all jelly plate texture. I love it. Really weird, really strange. These are all jelly plate prints.
What's the paper you're using?
I'm just using a little notebook, but I'm just, I'm letting things really stick. Like this is me, the drawing is on top, but this is all jelly plate material underneath where things just stuck and they kind of, it's just very imperfect.
So you're taking the jelly plate and printing it in the notebook.
No, I'm using the paper.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so this is one I did this morning and I'm going to show both sides because it's such a mess and I kind of couldn't do it. So I'm going to show you when it doesn't work and hopefully we'll get some to work. But even when they don't work, they're sort of great. So this one just became such a mess. And actually these are the speedball jelly plates that are really hard to use. I think they're kind of tricky actually. Maybe other people don't have a hard time with them, but okay. So like this one has all this schmutz on it, right?
Yeah.
Look at these beautiful layers. So I just happened to know somebody who I taught how to use jelly plates, and then she went crazy with this technique, and she makes the most extraordinary prints now but it takes a lot of failure actually. She's really great. So this is a jelly plate with lots of schmutz on it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put down a nice thick coat of something. What would be a really contrasting color? Maybe black. She's black. That would mean finding it. That would mean me finding the black. So there's a bunch of black. Now, this is when you need to have the paper ready to stick down. Of course, I don't have. I want a bigger piece of paper. So I'm going to be using some Staples cardstock for this.
Do you clean the roller or the plates in between? Because mine are getting pretty scuzzy.
So I don't clean them because I like all the schmutz to come off on the next one. Every once in a while, the rollers get kind of built up with paint, and then like this one isn't even turning. There we go. When they get built up, I soak them in hot water and then I scrub them down. Okay, now I'm going to smash this down. I'm going to put it quite close to the edge. I'm going to smash this down and I'm going to let it dry for a while. It's kind of a big physical class, actually. Okay, and then I actually even am gonna grab a book. This is what I do all the time. When I do this method, I'm gonna put a book and push and leave it. I'm gonna put it on the floor for a few minutes. Okay, and then I'm gonna do another one. This is a jelly plate I've really screwed up. It's got a lot of schmutz on it. Maybe I'll try and do a full page of one. Okay, so now I think I will throw down some what, let's make a really mysterious, beautiful, weird color. Brown, white, and blue. Any old blue. Maybe even a little, throw in something really strange like some yellow. And maybe even use this black roller that has lots of black on it. What the hell? This jelly plate got damaged. It's got some sort of dinks in it. These are gonna have to dry on there for a while. Okay, now I'm gonna smash this paper down. Smash it down. And I will put this on the floor with a big book over it, just to smash it down for a while. I'll put Deben corn on there. Libby, do you feel like you're getting the hang of it?
Kinda.
Okay.
They're not
So-
coming out, though, but you know, a long time ago, when I was retiring and they were having a leaf print party for me,
Yeah.
and we did a whole different method of doing leaf prints. I still have some of them, but it was easier than this, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you remember what you did?
I have the instructions that you gave me, but I don't know where they are anymore.
I mean, it was with me?
You gave me instructions and I gave them to the art teacher who organized the party. Everybody
Oh my
loved
God.
it. It was a big hit.
I really wish I'd known what I did
I
or
could
told
find,
you to do.
I probably have the instructions.
So this is a kind of hard hitting bunch of heavy duty dark color. And you know, you're going to get a lot of drama with this kind of piece. This is gonna be so much fun. I might have to visit after the break. You might have to look at what Terrell's doing because I'm sure she's doing some insane stuff. Wonderful. No pressure, Terrell.
Sorry, I stepped away. What'd you say?
I said I can't wait to see what you're doing. No
Oh.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need pressure. No artistic pressure. I'm such a maniac. If I have a whole day in the studio, I'm so excited, and then I get here, and then I sometimes can't do anything because I have so much time, and then I'm so scared it's going to dwindle down, and then all of a sudden it starts to dwindle, and then I'm in a panic, and then I get depressed. I mean, it's just so impossible to be a person. It's
Yeah,
exhausting.
Yes. I can wait.
It's just tough to, I don't know. It's hard to be in an earth suit. What can I say? Okay, so I mean, that is beautiful, and I am making cards for voters. But it's not quite like enough.
Love that, those leaves. Where'd you get those?
Oh, yeah, they're from one of those maples, Japanese maple.
I've been wandering around. You know, I went to Allendale Farm. I picked some of their leaves, and then my neighbor's gardens, and nothing's that great.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, I actually love the stuff I got out of the weeds along the driveway of my studio. I forgot to get stuff out of my own garden because I had to go into Boston to my gallery today. I used the magnet system for a new magnet system for hanging up a piece of artwork, and then one of the magnets fell off the wall. These are kind of, I mean, that's pretty, but not quite enough for me. Now, what happens if I print the ghost back into this piece? Might try that. It's a little bit of a risk because I like that print, but you know what? You gotta just try things. No, see, that didn't work at all. Just awful. But threw something in there. Now you could, then you could just go, wait a minute, I'm going to do something very radical. I'm going to put like a bright yellow leaf in here. You could do something. I mean, I'm working really small, but that doesn't mean you have to work small. This could be, it's just a good way to learn, right? Let's see if there's any paint on these leaves. It seemed like there was a lot of paint on them. Nope, not much happened there. Okay, so another thing that we did not do before the break, I just want to cover this one, which is what you make a ground. So you just make a ground, and let's get very crazy. So I don't care that the plate is dirty. Maybe one drop of retardant. I don't know really why I even do that. So look at these colors, then they get really nice and mixed up. I love these browns that you get from mixing red and green and throwing in a little bit of white. Really beautiful. But actually, did I really want to do that? So I'm so heavy-handed with the paint. That's my problem. So now I'm thinking I might have to print leaves again because I was so heavy-handed with that. It's going to be such a dark. And maybe it's time for me to go into my stack of failures to see what I could try to rework. And I might do that. Like this was kind of a yesterday failure. Maybe I'll just do that. I'm going to change my mind. So printing, it really appeals to some of us because you're kind of in control and you're kind of out of control. And almost everything I teach is about that balance of not really being in control and letting what happens happens. And then you make a print and it's not what you expect. And then you have to change it, or you go, oh, it's too light, so I need something dark. Then you add something dark. It's too dark, then you need to put light back in it, or it's all too many blues, you need a different color. It just, you can't really know what's going to happen until you just work. And there is kind of an old joke that printmakers never come home, because they just go, okay, I'm just gonna make one more print and I'm gonna see what this looks like in this other color. And I'm gonna, because, you know, and then you make, ooh, look how beautiful this paper is getting. This is unreal, and love the little hints of plants in here. Just little hints of them. So nice. Remember, it's squishy, so you can get the paint rather, on the paper. You can do this with oils. You can do this with those beautiful aqua inks. God, see, this is a total save. That's a real save. And look at the colors are really nice. That's kind of beautiful, actually.
That's beautiful.
This one's really beautiful. And this was a total, like I was about to throw it out. I don't always love the little rounded edges of the jelly plates. Sometimes that really bugs me. But anyway, that's a really beautiful one. And that was my most funky one. Now look, I can take these off and then I can print this onto this one that never really took off. Oh, it's too bad I can't get the whole thing. Maybe I'll do 2 halves. And this is a way to keep printing, to clean your plate. It does take everything off. Every time you add a wet paint, then it's going to kind of lift off whatever was on the plate. Sometimes the plates get really funky. It's really hard to clean them. And then, to tell you the truth, I can't remember how to clean them. Somebody said baby wipes, but I don't have any. I have washed mine with a little sponge. But, oh, now that's kind of cool looking too. But not great, but maybe a beginning of something. Okay, so these would be ones that it'd be cool to put a transparent color over that. I gotta do what Terrell suggested. I know we're about to take a break, but now I'm getting all excited and I can't quite stop. Maybe gray. Okay, I'm gonna try the matte medium.
Use very little.
Okay. I learn everything from you guys anyway, so. You mean just like a tiny bit? Okay.
What does that do?
Well, I want a transparent color.
It should help lift off what's on the plate.
Oh,
Of course, I had to use the gray that's really funky, sticky paint, but maybe that'll be okay.
Everything is an experiment.
Everything is an exploration, and wanting desperately to make something finished and good is just the kiss of death. I really want to do something good. I really want to do something good. I really want to do something good. Forget about it. Try to let that go. You actually might do something good if you forget about it. It's just like the frickin', it's like the, the Greek myths. I mean, those Greek myths, they have all these great little things that are very familiar to me. Like if you turn around and look at her, then you're going to lose her half of the year, like, what is it? Walking out of Hades. And which Greek myth is that? I know there's different versions of it.
Persephone.
Persephone. And then course, the person looks back. So it's sort of like you can't make something good if you desperately want to make something good. You can only make something good if you get so into the process, you follow the materials, and you love what you're doing. Well, that's not always true though. Okay, so that's kind of not very good. But I probably wasn't patient. I should have stayed with it longer, but now I can print into it and probably do something really cool. These Japanese maples are very pretty.
Remember that movie Black Orpheus? Remember you said,
Yeah.
don't look back.
Right.
That was my first art movie.
I mean, I'm going to put some matte medium on here and try something else. Just going to leave it for the break, maybe. You know, it's kind of like we can't dwell in the past. Just can't dwell in the past. Got to just be in the present, be in the present, be in the present. So hard to do though. Oh. Okay, I'm going to put this right down here. Okay, so hopefully those pieces that are being held down by books, I can show you some really strange stuff. Okay, we're on a little break. I'm probably not going to take a break. Yeah, go take a break. I'll pour my tea. I might just leave this a little bit to see if I can pick up all the stuff. And while I'm doing that, because I just can't stop working, now I'm totally into it.
Well, you gave me the idea that you really need a line of jelly plates, so you can leave some to ferment and just keep moving on.
Yeah, and to teach the class, I was like, I really have to feel like I have a lot of things to work with because it's tricky to teach this class.
Oh yeah, I was thinking for myself, what a great idea to have a line of them.
It really is. So I have, and you know, you might want to try making them.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Sheet pan.
My favorite mud colors, smoke and mud. I'm starting to fall in love with the colors of the Japanese maple leaves. They're just so pretty. Crazy. Look at the that paper is so pretty. This is what I really love today are these scratch papers. It's pretty nice. Maybe on print. I think that's beautiful. I think that's really pretty. Love it. Then I've got this to print with. Maybe I print these. This got kind of messed up. Maybe I just throw some leaves on here. Not very successful. But then maybe I go completely crazy and just bought a new color today that I really want to try out. Looks so insane. I've never even had it. It's Keenan red. I'm gonna just try this. And everybody knows my little tip. Add just the tiniest bit of white to a really bright red. It just makes it so pretty. And it looks really pink. I'm going to add a little more red. Not too pink. A little too much white there. Maybe I'll do this one. So if you did not have a Gelli plate, you can do what Gauguin did, which is print off of anything. When he was in the islands, Tahiti, he printed off of cardboard. He made such incredible prints with no special materials. Absolutely nothing. It's still not very good, but you know what? So what? It's good enough for sending to a voter. And then of course there's tons of paint on here. So maybe I think I'm actually working on some of these papers for my future work. I really do. I think these catch-alls are so pretty. And of course, they're exactly what I'm interested in because I love things that look unfinished and kind of sketchy and I mean, look at this paper. Look at this stuff. It's beautiful. I love it. I love this stuff. I mean, this is what I really like. So that's a nice, it's a nice plus. This could be really nice stuff for the beginning of a collage. Collage that down. Okay, let me see if the stuff on the floor is ready to lift off. One thing I didn't cover was I haven't covered yet. Okay, so I left this over the break, and now it's really lifting off pretty much everything. So like Libby, you were saying your plates, your jelly plate gets really messy. First of all, you can turn it over, and then you can kind of clean this stuff by making a print. I'm gonna take my sponge and dip it in water and squeeze out all the water, and then I can gently clean my plate if I want to. I don't usually clean them because I just keep printing and I like all the schmutz, but you can clean it. This one is cleaning up very nicely. I'm not using the scratchy side, I'm just using the spongy side. So I just wanted to show you that you can clean them. If it gets really stuck on there, then I suggest you put the thick paint and mash a piece of paper down on it and put a book over it. And then wait for it to really dry and then peel it off. Now I've got schmutz on the other side of this. Okay, so let's go get this one. Now this is going to be tricky to show you because this is very, very tricky. The first thing I do is I peel edge off, and I'm very careful because you want to break the seal of the paint stuck down to the jelly. So oh, another thing is that you can't really do this method with thin paper. You really need Bristol or cardstock. It's not working very well. So I want to show you how long it takes to do this. It's not for everybody to do this method. So what you're trying to do is break the seal of the paint. Sometimes you have to kind of see it's going to tear. It's not a perfect science, but I love this method. I try it. If it starts tearing the paper, I try to get in there.
You're trying to break the seal between the paint and the jelly plate, right?
Mm-hmm. So
not-
it is working. And now watch, if I can get a handle on my paper, I start to pull it really slowly. You can actually tear a jelly plate this way. And I have, because I do this with the person I work for on Mondays, and she does these huge jelly plates. And it takes like all our muscle to pull the paper off. And this is how slowly you have to go. And it's hard. It's like really hard for me to do this right now. You get some really good, cool stuff. Remember, I put some black on here. It's not taking everything off, but sometimes it just starts tearing completely. But you get really amazing surfaces. Oh, c'est Martha. C'est Martha qui arrive. C'est Martha, ma copine à Seattle. Elle arrive. So, this jelly plate is really funky, but remember I put some black and then mashed it down, let it dry about 20 minutes. And look at how slowly I'm pulling it. Taking all my muscle to do it. Oh, it's a good thing I'm weightlifting, girls. Okay, so that took quite a lot of it off. And then you get these wild, I love the surfaces of these things. They're so cool. Of course, I don't really know what I do with it. I'm going to do another one. Okay, so remember, you have to kind of break seal a little bit. So this is a way to clean a jelly plate, get everything off. Really tricky. But it's so fun. So what I suggest you do is you try it on small ones. I'm telling you, the person I work with Mondays, the stuff she gets is just wild. She gets all these layers and oh, really cool. Really messy.
Does she
And actually-
collage, does she collage with them or?
Yeah, she does, but she's a designer, so she'll do like these kind of patterns, print. She's a printmaker. She makes stuff that looks kind of like, I can't even explain it. Well, it kind of looks like what I was showing you earlier with, it looks like this kind of without the drawings. It's like very atmospheric. Like imagine just this. And then I've collaged it. I've used this paper to make a collage here. This is all from jelly plates. Letting them get really messed up and pulling them apart I was using gold and silver and white and black and bronze. This is silver actually. It's just wild what you can, I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do with these babies. But you can see how tricky it is to pull it apart. This one's going pretty fast though. Talk about out of control. I mean, you just can't hurry this process because I mean, you could spend all weekend playing with jelly plates and see what you can do and see what kind of weird things you can do. Now, one thing I want to cover is using some stamping. Okay, so I know this is big kind of weird mess, but I love stuff like this. I love all the accident. I love this kind of thing. So these are the ones we just pulled apart, prized apart. Kind of beautiful stuff, painterly and strange and beautiful. And this is the one I did earlier today that just really got away from me, but I love that. And actually, sometimes I glue these back on and I like the way it, it's just really textural stuff. Okay, so. What I used in the beginning of class. Plant matter all over it. I don't really care. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna put a brown. This is that old paint that's getting too stiff. Shucks. Nope, this paint is too old. Really gross. Look how gross that paint is. No, that's what happens to acrylic. Okay, so I got to actually get some really pain in the butt because this is not that old, this paint. I'm just gonna see if I can get down to a better part of the tube. It's a gray color. I don't think I can. No, I guess it just, sometimes you can. Sometimes it hardens close to the top. No, it's not going to work. So let's see if I can add something else. There's some fresh paint. Martha, do you have a jelly? I think she does. Let's see what happens here. There's a little too much paint. I'm just gonna see what's happening here. Now, sometimes if you just know you've used much too much ink, I take it off on a piece of paper. Not ink, paint. You just say that automatically. It's horrible paint. Now, what if I took a stamp just to show you, you can, you don't have to, you can just throw in a little bit of pattern with stamps. I usually make my own. I'm just not doing that right now. Gotta get paper. I'm using sketch paper. Okay. Always fun to look at a print. Now, I've been finding that I actually like to put these kinds of prints into the beginning of a collage, and then I paint a whitewash over the whole thing so that these kind of get pushed back. I use a lot of prints in my collages. I'm going to take these off, see what's going on here. I'm not going to print that back into the same one because I just don't think I'd like it. So I think I'm just going to print next to this. Overlap a little bit. I make prints to collage with later, unless I'm doing lots of these kind of cards, because that's kind of what the class was. And I am really stockpiling cards to send to voters for Saturday. I'm going to lead a workshop. Pretty. This is kind of beautiful. I love this. I actually love this big jelly plate. I mean, these are just fun. This is the kind of stuff I will totally use. Okay, so let's do it again. I just want people to be aware of how incredible a color is when you take blue, any blue, It's a big plate, so I'm going to put a little extra paint there. Blue, and let's do orange. Blue, orange. It's really fun to do this. You can just do anything, any colors. But green. And a little bit of white. And let's see what this color becomes, because these are just the most, I mean, that's beautiful color. I love that color. It's kind of coppery. Just mix it up right on the plate. There's a very wonderful success story going on right now in Boston. A friend of mine has a studio in a building called Humphrey Street Studios, and it was an old, yeah, it was an old foundry in Dorchester, and artists have been renting the building out for, I don't know, 25 years, and then it was going to be sold and turned into some snazzy apartments. And then there's some real estate company that really loves to help artists out, and they fought to make it like stay artist housing. It's not housing, it's only studio space, and they won, and now they're commemorating it tomorrow. Called Humphrey Street Studios. Just a really nice story.
I read about it.
Yeah. Now, it's really nice to have compositions that are off kilter. So not everything is just super lined up. Like have things a little bit off. Very beautiful to do that. Okay, now I'm using sketch paper, because I'm definitely going to use these in collages. Getting a little bit bigger. I have to stop on my way home to get white vinegar because teaching tomorrow and in my studio, and we're making rust prints. Where you take paper and you wrap a rusty object. You wrap paper around a rusty object and tie it with string, and then you get it wet with a vinegar and water solution and let it dry for a week. And then you get these rust prints that are very beautiful for collage. Hard to teach that in a 2-hour class. So pretty. Oh, that's funny. I guess my leaves were wet. Now there's a couple things I can do. I can let this dry and then put another color over it and smash it down and let it dry and then pull off the whole thing. I think I might do that. So I'll just let that dry because it's very beautiful. And then it's kind of fun to get some of these printed. Let's see what's. By the way, look at what just came off that jelly plate. All this cool, funky stuff. Okay, all this, that's what's really magical about jelly plates. You can't really control what comes off of them. See if I can get anything going on here. I end up just thinking these are just so fantastic looking. Love them. These. They're really beautiful. I love these. Just leave them on a big sheet of paper because maybe that'll get collaged right into something. One thing I don't feel like I was really clear about was that really great to, I'm just going to review one thing, which is have fun making a spotty, like making solids. I have to show it. I can't sometimes I can't talk about something I'm doing to just show it. So that red is just too dominant. Oh well. But it's getting to be a very beautiful color. Okay, so I have just, I'm just gonna make a solid. Just reviewing something. That's a nice kind of big mess. And then I'm going to throw some white on here. No, this green pale. What if I leave that edge kind of like that? That might be kind of cool too. Not really very successful, but guess what? Then I think, okay, what does this need? And I think I know what it needs. I think it needs just like one dark leaf here. Meanwhile, this looks beautiful. I think I'm gonna have to throw this on a card. I'm gonna let that dry there for a minute. Okay, so now I'm gonna compose a little bit. And I've got great color over here. I'm gonna make it darker. Maybe some burnt umber and maybe a little bit of black. That is the most beautiful color is black and burnt umber, makes a sepia, nice dark sepia. And then I have to just figure out what leaf would look beautiful in that little corner. Maybe it would just be a little tiny bunch of leaves. Because that corner is a little bland. I'm starting to like my scratch papers so much I almost don't want to work on them. I'm getting attached to them. You know, this, you have to sort of develop a feel for this because sometimes you put too much paint on the thing and then you kind of know it's going to schmutz out when you press it. Like I think that one might have been on the verge of too much paint. That's pretty nice. And then I go, wait a minute, I really want that stem to finish. I want that stem all going right off the picture plane. So then I paint the stem. It gets, you know, that whole thing of like, it seems very accidental and then you get more, start to compose more. And I go, wait a minute, I want one leaf a little more printed. Perfect. Maybe I want one more leaf there. I mean, it gets a little obsessive, but that's okay because that's kind of that's what happens. You go from being very like throwing it down, getting it together, you know, just throwing things together. And then you get very like, oh, wait a minute. This needs a dark brown leaf right there. Nope, I screwed it up. Now I have to do another one because I think I'm getting a little too obsessed. And that happens too. I'm going overboard, but too late now. I'll put it down and then I will get my paper. Be careful. It's good. I think it's good. I think that's actually a really beautiful one. It's a really pretty one here. Okay, so these were some of my favorites I did today. And that was the one that was really messed up. So always good to work on. Keep working on things. I think this one got really ugly. I wonder what I could do to that. It might be nice to see, and this is where you start to, you know, you go, okay, I think I'm gonna just try a little violet. Little bit of violet. No, Alexandra, do not use your teeth to open the paint. Do not do it. Do not do it. Step away from the pie. That happened to a friend of mine. She was cooking pies and her husband came in the kitchen and I heard her say to him, oh, wait. Step away from the pie. Neil, step away from the pie. That's so funny. That's funny. She was a very funny person. Hey, Martha, you there? Martha knows Michelle. It's my favorite Michelle story of all time, practically. Step away from the pie. This is a little bit daring. Purple. Let's see. I'm not really sure, but maybe it got a little bit better. This is a very beautiful color. It's called ash blue. Really pretty. Just a beautiful gray. I love this color. Of course, you can mix it with Payne's gray and a little bit of white. Don't need to buy ash blue. So now I have my jelly. I take a card. Any kind of shape. Then I can do this a few different ways. I can just turn it upside down. That's a little awkward. But I guess I'm going to do that. Or no, I can do it. Oh, I can put it here and then take my paper. This is good. Going right into a notebook. Was it 2 pieces of paper? Was it? No. Okay. This is a really nice way of doing a collage drawing because I think of this as starting something and then you have to take the next step. You don't have to do leaf prints. Now I'm going to take this off. Then I have those shapes. This was far from impressive, pretty horrible, but I'm just going to print that back in here and see what happens. Remember, if you do something that is very underwhelming, that means you have more freedom to play with it. And if you do something that you absolutely love, then you get all tight because then you don't want to wreck it. So there's some really good, oh, that didn't print at all. Oh, that's funny. Maybe that's because you know what it is? I think it's because it's a brand new plate. Sometimes they just dry so fast. Okay, we'll keep going because what I want to show is this is now dried. So I'm going to I'll go back to that other one. I won't give up. White. I'm just going to use something like this because it's kind of fun to keep printing on a big old experimental piece. While I'm at it, I'm going to put something on here too. So you can play with what seems like kind of a big failure. for fun. I'm gonna put some of this color down. What's happening on here? Taking pretty much everything off of here. Not quite, but. Okay, so I had a leaf print that was dried for like 20 minutes on a jelly. Put white, kind of a grayish, greenish white down, and then it takes off pretty much everything. Show you. Nice stuff, very nice stuff, very beautiful stuff. What will I do with it? I don't know, but I use this stuff a lot. And then there's the one that is disaster in the book. See if this one is. Yeah, so this is coming out kind of cool. I love it. I love that. I think that's absolutely beautiful, actually. I love stuff that's really open and atmospheric and beautiful. I think that's gorgeous. That's the kind of background I like to start a collage with, this kind of thing. Okay. Oh boy, I'm getting so excited. I'm loving these last papers I made. I'm just so excited by them. So fun. These are just really fun things. Beautiful. And you know, we see this a lot because people use leaves a lot. There's a lot of art using leaves, so it can become a cliche. Whew. Okay, we are almost at 10 past. I'm very curious what people made today.